All right, what is going on, guys? It is time for another episode of the Chasing Waypoints podcast, and we're counting them down. 91. This is episode 91 of the Chasing Waypoints podcast, and man, it has been a ride. Thinking about it, all this time that we've spent on these 91 episodes, I didn't even realize it that we had actually just blew right by the 2-year anniversary. So I looked it up. I was looking at episodes previously, and I was thinking like, I'm going to, had a really good conversation with Mason Klein. We'll touch base on that in just a second. But went back all the way and looked, and I was like, okay, well, I got to find out when I first talked to him. Well, today's show, we're going to be talking a little bit about his progress and what he's been doing. Didn't get a chance. Again, I'll explain in just a minute what happened on that one, but it was it sucked at the time, but it was pretty cool. Anyway, so we're counting it down. It's the countdown to Dakar. We are almost there. 2023 going to be the new Dakar, is it? Crossing the Saudi Arabia Peninsula. We got a few rule changes that are going to make, they're going to shake some stuff up. So let's see what that looks like. We'll talk a little bit more about that in this episode as well, but I am looking forward to it. Today's going to be a quick episode too because, well, I got to get some bikes done, man. I haven't been riding. It's riding season now. It's cold in the morning, but I can do some riding here. So anyway, let's turn the party down. I know we're all over the place this morning. This is that's Starbucks. If you guys saw my post on Instagram about it, it was an interesting conversation that we were having at the race control area at the Sonora Rally this year. I was talking with Michael, one of the guys that works with the Sonora Rally and handles their timing and scoring. He's the one that grooms the results and looks at everything and does that. But we were talking about it, and we were talking because, of course, they had to fire up the coffee maker in the mornings. And we're like, well, no, this is coffee. I need Starbucks. And then the whole conversation came up. And we came to the conclusion that, well, while Starbucks for some is good, Starbucks generally isn't considered coffee amongst coffee connoisseurs. So we said, okay, you know what? Fine, we'll stick with it. All right, Starbucks is Starbucks and coffee is coffee. And thus that was born. So everything went pretty well. We'll have some more. We still have a recap pending for that for this year's Sonora Rally, which a lot of stuff going on. It was really, really cool event though. Everybody made it back. Safe is a broad term, but everybody made it back and was definitely having fun and all smiles. And it was not an easy event for the competitors. It was difficult, especially the last couple of days in the dunes. But anyway, we'll have a recap show on that one. So let's talk what happened. Okay, what happened to Mason Klein? Well, it's not what happened to Mason Klein. Actually, a lot's happened to him. But on our end of it, so I said, hey, you know what? Let's. I reached out to him, and I got to, my hats off to Mason for that. He's very. He wants to be accessible to people to talk about rally, and wants to be like he is the brand ambassador for rally. He's willing to show people. He's got tons of road books. He's very open. The whole family. Larry, Lisa, everybody, the whole family is very open and welcoming, which is really, really cool. Like that speaks highly of, the pedigree, right? And both Carter and Mason are doing extraordinarily well on the bike. So I'm expecting a lot of big things from them, to see a lot of big things from them over the next few years for sure, as they continue to grow in the sport. But anyway, okay, so got him on the horn. We're doing all this. We're talking, and I mean, we're like, I'll give you the short of it. We're like an hour deep into this conversation, and I'm just like, yeah, everything's good. Mason's telling me, catching me up on all of the stuff that's been going on this year and what he's been up to and how it went. Because the last time we talked was before the Dakar. We talked in May as he was getting ready for that next year's Dakar, which was May 21, and he was getting ready for the 22 Dakar. So a lot happened since then, but anyway, we're going over all of this stuff, and then I just look down and go like, man, I know he's busy. I don't want to keep him longer. And I look over to see the timer, and the timer on the recording isn't on the screen. And like my heart sank, and I was like extremely annoyed in short order. And Mason was cool about it, which was really awesome. But I just felt like, I screwed it up, but I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Anyway, here we are. But still, we had a great conversation. We couldn't link up to meet to get back on and record an actual episode together before this one came out. But I really wanted to talk about what has been going on, because I think that it's very important for the sport, and something that we talked about. So I don't know if you guys are following Mason Klein or not around, with the Instagram thing, and he recently introduced this subscription thing for his Instagram, right? And it's part of the fundraising efforts, for the events and to cover things, even things that I didn't even realize, like, oh, that is actually a thing, like his dad Larry doing the live videos and trying to get content to us stateside from Saudi Arabia. That carries a bill, because you have to get a SIM card, you have to do all this stuff. So things like that, it's these little, the little fundraisers and the little stuff that do it. So if you're listening, this will be the first time I say it. If you're listening to this and you follow Mason Klein, definitely consider subscribing to him. I have been watching his content and what he's been coming up with and what he has been sharing on the subscriber side of it. And I can tell you that, yeah, he's very active on it. He's been posting things like product recommendations and writing and just other things that you get to see with it. So I think that it's absolutely worthwhile. Plus, I know that in doing so, I'm helping support even a little bit, even if it's that, that one recovery drink on the way home or whatever it is, it's going to help, every little bit helps. So that's the first time I talk about it. So we're talking about this, and there's a lot of stuff that has happened. I mean, when I talked to him, there was the great unknown, right? Heading into the Dakar in 22, really not knowing what was going on, right? First time going, he obviously knows the sport. He had a plan, and as we know now, he executed it flawlessly. And so that was really great to see, that he put forth his abilities and just went for it and was able to do so well. And so leading a group of very seasoned rally riders and having them let you navigate is absolutely huge, and I'm sure he felt proud about it. I sure it was a good feeling. So in our conversation, and kind of talking about it, there was something that kind of came up and I was impressed with, was the idea that, he understands he did well. And of course he's proud for it, and he has a support system that's proud for him, but he himself, was looking for the things that he could improve on. And in talking, there's a few things that he mentioned and what he's been working on and has continued to do so just to get to the point where we're at now. Now he's heading into the 23 Dakar. He's done very well at all of the events, raced the majority of the World Rally Raid championship events, ultimately leading to picking up the championship. Rally 2, he is the world champion now. And so not only that, picking up a couple of W's on the way there. And so he has done very, very well. He's blown out onto this, international rally scene. And yet he's still the kid from Agua Dulce. And is very humble and very focused. That is one thing in our conversation that I noticed with him, is that he is very focused on what the future is, and all of these little things that he's been working on, simple things, talking about toolboxes, talking about running things that are different from other people, and even on things like hydration and what he does. These are all things that I'm learning in talking to him, but I'm also learning when we start talking, I'm learning about it in both ways. He's telling me about it, but then I'm also seeing it on his Instagram subscription side. So it's really, really cool to kind of catch on and see some of these different things that go into rally, the things that we don't know. And now I think it's like, okay, well, how does that apply to me? How does that apply to us? If we're rally enthusiasts, adventure riders and stuff like that, well, these are all things that we can take home, long day riding, when and where to hydrate, what kind of things to do, because a lot of times we end up doing, like, I do push myself. I enjoy like the idea of pushing myself further when I go on adventure rides, set that stretch goal. I am tired now, but I want to get to this point, and this point is still 100 miles away or 50 miles away. And I'm tired, and I recognize that. I know the speed I need to be riding so that I can make that ride, but I know when I get there, I'm going to be pretty beat. So what are some of the things, these are things that I can cue off of what he's telling me to be able to apply. And so I think that is very practical knowledge. And then not only that, but like things, we were talking about toolboxes, toolbox location on the rally bike and the accessibility of tools, all of these little details. So not only that, but working on the health and fitness side of it and getting ready for this Dakar. I think we're going to see really big things from him coming this edition of the 23 Dakar. So we'll see. I mean, the preparation is there. I've got my T-shirt. I've got all of that stuff. And to say, there are other, the American Rally Originals, they're headed out there. Jacob Argybright's headed out there. Ace Nielsen's headed out there. There's a lot of people going out to this year's Dakar, 11 riders this year. And so in supporting them and how we can support them, is definitely the throw the follows. If you could buy a T-shirt, if you could do something, along those lines to help them, achieve this goal and represent us, and us and both in the sense of the pro side of it, right? We want to see the pros succeed and do their thing and continue to do what they're doing. And then also at the same time, we want to see the normal guy that gets out there and is making it happen. And so helping them with something as small as, buying a T-shirt, or hitting them on that GoFundMe or something like that, it goes a long way. So definitely try and do so. I'll try and grab some links together for you guys, but I think that would be really cool. Anyway, so continuing the conversation, I mean, it was a lot of really good stuff. Thinking about it now, I kind of feel like I learned a lot in our conversation, especially about him and how his mindset is and how his focus is. A shout out, and I hope I don't get in trouble for telling him this, but in our conversation, he did mention in speaking with one of the other competitors, famously known for riding long distances at really, really fast speeds, and I'm referring to Colton Udall. And not only that, but Skylar House. In our conversation, he said that, he's thankful for the input and the feedback that they have given him, and that reconstruction or not reconstruction, but that construction. Hey guys, what's going on? Super quick break in the podcast episode. I hope you guys are enjoying. I just wanted to mention really quick, I've been using the Anchor.fm platform for all of the podcast distribution and everything, and it is very, very simple. So if you guys have been thinking about getting into your own podcast, doing your own thing, talking about your own adventures and what you've got going on your side of the planet, it is very, very simple. All you got to do is go down to your app store, whatever that may be, if it's Android or if it's on Apple, download the Anchor app, or you can also go to anchor.fm, create an account, and get started. It is super, super simple. So anyway, with that being said, back to the episode. Constructive. It wasn't criticism, but those constructive ideas that have helped him achieve what he's achieved. And so I think that is really, really cool. That just goes to show the rally family. The rally family, everybody helps each other out. And so there's a lot of things that are coming down the pipe that we're talking about, that's going to continue to grow the rally family here in North America. That includes Canada, that includes Mexico, of course, the U.S. here. And I think that if we all stand together, we all help support each other, this sport is going to grow. And there's no two ways about it. It's going to grow. It's already growing. It's just we need to work on the steps. This is something that I was talking about with a couple of close friends yesterday. That we were talking about some of the future plans, and that was something that came up is, we have to get that recipe together. We have to get that level, like, okay, a staircase isn't built from the middle up, the staircase is built from the first step up. And so, well, okay, you know what I'm talking about, because construction guys are going, no, you're not, it's built this way. And so we already know that. But you know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at, right? We got to go step by step by step until we get to the top and everybody is up there, and sometimes somebody's going to struggle. We just got to help them with that next step. And so I think that supporting each other and doing the whole rally family thing and how we can learn to navigate and how we, without breaking the bank, without getting into it, and just get into it and just see it, I will quote it again because Matthew Glade from Rally Moto Shop said it. Look at the used gear market for rally. It is virtually non-existent. That means that everybody that buys the equipment and gets into this ends up liking it to a degree where they decide that it's worth keeping the equipment. Or maybe they sell it to their friend, but it does not hit the internet. It means they were able to pass it on to somebody that was interested in getting in the sport. Local, right there with them. Not, okay, I can't sell this to anybody in my hometown. I need to sell this to somebody in Europe. That's not the case. So I think that, we need to continue to help grow the sport. I am committed to helping grow the sport. There's some plans coming. I'm not going to announce any of that stuff yet, but there are things that are coming down the pipe that I think are going to be huge for the sport here in the United States that I'm very, very excited about. So we'll be talking more about that part of it soon. But anyway, so Rally Month is over. Kind of changing gears here. Rally Month is over. The next one up is the Dakar. We've got things going on with the Dakar, right? Some of the rule changes. I believe, overreaching speed limit. You've got the whole AB route thing, and there's a lot of things that we don't know what they're going to look like yet, and then the whole thing about, the competitor list, how many riders are actually going to compete? Are they lowering the size of the field and all that stuff? So there's still some unknowns going into this. So my plan for this year's Dakar, as like I did last year, I want to do daily updates. I like the Sonora side of it, and you guys can let me know. Send me a message on Instagram if you want to see more of that. But basically, I was doing down at Sonora Rally, was just doing like a stage introduction. What are these guys up against for today? What does it look like? What are the current standings and stuff like that? So I want to do something a little bit more in detail to help people watch and see what what you guys are seeing, what you guys are hearing, and maybe some of the stuff to pay attention to. The Dakar swing is going to be different this year, with awards and stuff going for people that are leading out. There's going to be some changes in this year's event. So looking forward to seeing how that goes and how that rolls for this year. So we'll see. So that was the conversation. This is the second time I'm going to say it. Is go like, share, subscribe. Oh, also follow him on YouTube, Mason. Because he also has some really cool stuff he's been recording. And the cool part is that it's just a peek behind the curtain. That was something even Skylar Howes, Skylar Howes was talking about possibly doing some subscription stuff on his channel, on his Instagram. And I sent him a message. I'm going, yeah, the something that we, and this does not necessarily, or it does not apply to them. Skylar's very approachable. We saw it at the Sonora Rally. I have a couple of videos that I posted of him, jumping in on the riders meeting and helping people understand. And then as soon as the meeting was over and we were waiting for the other competitor meeting, there was a line of people there to ask him questions about things, and everybody's listening around, and it just kind of turned into a mini class. And it was really, really cool to see that. He's very committed to helping people. And also, obviously he's super committed to what he is doing, his event, his stuff. So it's really good to see. But he was talking about doing that. And I told him, is I think that the inaccessibility thing amongst other riders and amongst the stars of motorsport is getting old, and it's like, sometimes you just have a question and you want that question to be seen. And, remember when you were in school and there are no dumb questions. If you ask it, somebody else is probably thinking that question. That applies to many more things, not just school. So, yeah, you guys, all you guys that are, the rock stars and maybe don't check your DMs. And I'm sure you get a ton of DM messages in Instagram and all of that stuff. But it's probably not a bad idea to go in, take a look, and just see what's in there. Because content ideas may be literally sitting in your inbox and you're struggling to get viewers. And what better than if somebody asks you, right? I'm talking to the upper whatever percent you want to call it, but what if somebody asks you a question and you answer that question? One, you made their day, and two, they're going to be more likely to share that video without you having to ask for it because, hey, I wanted to know this information. I got a shout out, or I asked this question, or whatever it is. And now you're growing your social media presence, so some food for thought. I don't know how many of the top level, if any of the top level guys listen to this show, but I feel like that is some sage advice. You never know. You never know who's watching. That was a conversation that we had, Larry Klein and I had at Mason's birthday party. Was you never know who is watching, who you're talking to, who they could be referring to. So. Or be in direct contact with. So, you got to treat everybody, as such. So with respect and not talk down to people and just be I guess in this case, be accessible. So, and again, hats off to Mason for doing that. So, okay, what are we on to next? Because as much as I enjoy this sound, I also enjoy the sound of my 790 starting up. So I definitely want to get to that one here shortly. So let's see what else is going on in the world. Well, speaking of 790, working on decking that thing out. So the last time I rode this thing, and man, if it starts, I'm going to be jumping for joy because the fuel pump hasn't been turned on in I don't know how long. But so the last time I rode it was when we went up to the Revzilla event at Dakar up in Mojave with Every Single Sunday with Travis and them, and got a chance to ride it, got a chance to lay it down a couple of times, and I realized there was some work that needed to be done, and so getting that work done, setting the bike up. Somebody finally made, G2 Ergonomics finally made a grip where you don't have to like sand the stock throttle tube down to get, just to be able to put a grip on it. They have their own thing now. So I got that, picked that up, put a nice set of comfy grips on there, some nice sticky stuff. And then, obviously I got the pegs. Now I was running the Raid Garage pegs, and something that I noticed when I moved on to Travis's bike, when I rode it around for a little bit, he was riding mine, I was riding his, and something that I noticed was that the bike felt more nimble in between my legs. But it was one of those things. Well, I started to think about it. I'm like, what could be causing this feeling? And now maybe it's not so much, but it was enough. And the only thing that I could think of was the peg height. So I changed to the Raid Garage pegs, which are lowered roughly, I believe it's 15 millimeters. Now, for those of you playing the home game, lowering the pegs lowers the center of gravity, which then helps in turn maybe feel the bike feel more stable, also help with traction, especially if they move the pegs back. In the world of motorcycle riding, it's all about weight transfer. Where's the weight and what does it do? So I've talked about this before, hole shots, right? Look at the entire field on a motocross lineup, and just watch. And watch what happens. The guy that weighs the most is likely the first one, or is going to be right up towards the front of the pack if he gets a good start, right? If you dump the clutch late, that's on you. That has nothing to do with the physics at play here. But the pegs, where they sit in relation to the bike and the center of gravity, all of that plays in how the bike responds to your inputs and your things. And so in my mind is that, okay, well, it's lowering the center. For my weight, I'm putting a lot of weight really down low because the pegs are lower. So in my mind, I'm making the bike feel not as nimble. Yeah, more stable, but when it comes time to turn the thing, it feels like it's harder to turn. I feel like I have to put more effort into turning it. And so that's where I thought, okay, I need to work on this. And so went back, going to run the stock rally pegs, which are super wide, super comfy. I'm going to try those for a bit, and then maybe I end up with something else. But I just want to see it. I want to experiment with it and just figure out, okay, this is my setup. This is what I want to run. So doing the pegs, doing the trans saver from Rottweiler on it, rerouting the fuel lines, getting the breathers right, doing all of these little things, all of these little setup things, because like we've learned in rally and at these events is that the things that you forget, the things that you shortcut, the things that you don't are literally like they go on this list that's at the middle of the stage, that when you get to that list is exactly when it happens. But the only difference is you don't know where on the stage that is. And what I'm getting at is that you forget things, you get into a hurry, something is not 100%, and then the next thing you know, it's the thing that's biting you in the ass. And so any motorcycle, anything that you work on, anything that you prep should be done the same way. I've gotten my ass chewed out by the best of them about doing something like, well, you put the bolt on, it would have taken you 2 more minutes to grab the tools, torque the bolts properly, and then that job is done 100%. Now you got to remember to do that tomorrow. Well, what happens is if you don't remember to do it, you get lazy or whatever it is, or you forget, with all of the stuff that we got going on, and next thing you know, you've got issues. So you got to watch out for that. So with that being said, that's my thing. I'm, starting my little list and getting all that stuff, but I know exactly where I'm headed back to the bike to continue on with the work. And I'm not going to move on to another part of the bike until I finish that part 100%. I am satisfied with what is going on. And so I think that that's how it should be in order to ensure that, you don't end up with problems later. That's just, that's just my mind. But there's a lot of guys that are doing bike prep on this channel, or that are listening. All of the guys on the American Rally Originals team, they're all mechanically working on their bikes and have to understand how those bikes work, before they head out to Saudi. Because they're doing it on their own and they're going to be out there. And the cool part, you're on a team and all that stuff, and you can lean on each other for that support and that help and that, hey, I don't know what to do with this. And then they can help with that. So a lot of that is there. So it's just a matter of, okay, well, how do we continue to grow that? Or how do they continue to grow the skill set? And I think that, with people doing content, if Skylar jumps in, I'm waiting for him to announce that he's doing the subscription thing, because I want to try and be one of the first to subscribe to that. And then also with Mason, I already subscribed with that. And the same thing is just little things that, you don't realize, but that will help continue to grow or better your skill set or whatever it is. So I don't know. There's a lot of different things. There's a lot of advice. There's a lot of things that can go on that you can work on. But the big thing right now, the big focus is that, hey, we're headed to the Dakar. 11 Americans are headed to the Dakar. They're going to go run. We want to support them, watch them, and see how it does and continue to grow the sport. So if you have ideas, if you have what, I really want to get into Rally Raid, but I just don't understand this, or I don't know where to go here, or I don't know where to start. I got all of this stuff. Where do I get road books? So I have some great ideas. I got some really easy stuff for you, some real easy tips. We're going to be doing some more of that. I kind of want to put that on YouTube, though, rather than on the podcast. I can cross-share it and do all of that stuff, but because I want something for new people and something that is evergreen, something that when people look it up, it's easy to look up. Podcasts don't necessarily get searched in the same way that videos and YouTube does. I believe YouTube is or second biggest search engine in the world. So people go to YouTube for knowledge. So definitely want to get some information on there on how to do basic road books and things like that. And so I'm going to be working on that part of it. I've already got some stuff. I've already got some ideas that I think that's going to help everybody turn into a navigator, and even maybe do some team building. But I think that if we all continue to watch, if you guys got questions about how to get into the sport, what are some basics that you need to know, we can do that. And if I don't know, I'm sure I could find somebody that will help explain this stuff to us. So with that being said, guys, it is time to switch that noise for the other vroom vroom noise. So I hope everybody's having a good week. I know it's a short episode today, but we will be back with our regularly scheduled super long episodes so you guys can enjoy it for at least a couple of hours at a time. No, just kidding. Hey, I don't script the episodes. The episodes go where they're going to go, and then we move on from there and enjoy them. So the recipe has worked. I'm not changing the recipe. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. I've been doing this now over 2 years, which is crazy to say that, but absolutely love it. I cannot wait to do some more. This year sounds like we're going to be doing some more traveling and headed to some more events. I'm really working on getting organized on that part of it because, well, at the events, we have a lot of fun. So remember, guys, shiny side up. Go out there, have fun. Oh, don't forget, November 4th, 2022 was the first annual Skylar House Day. So get out, do something, tag them. You're already late if you're listening to this and just now finding out about it, but get ready for next year so you can go out and do something cool on a motorcycle, a mountain bike. Get out there and do something. So, all right, guys, have a good weekend. We will talk to you guys soon. All right, that is a wrap for the Chasing Waypoints podcast this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you heard. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a bunch of others. Also, follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook under Chasing Waypoints, Instagram, Chasing Waypoints _official, and, of course, the YouTube under Chasing Waypoints. Hope everybody has a good week. We will see you guys for the next episode. Remember, shiny side up, and don't forget to tag us. We want to see where you guys are riding and what you guys are up to. Have a great week.